Hello, everyone. My name is Conrad. On behalf of CameraStuff, thank you for joining. We had some glitches, but we are ready to go. So Jay unfortunately had to drive to someone's house to get some fiber, but yeah, he's here and waiting for us. So he is in the chat. So without further ado, hello, Jay. How are you doing?
I'm better now. Just that 10-minute drive.
No worries at all.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
So
good.
you have to drive 10 minutes to go to someone's house for fiber. And what's her name? Mandy. I think I overheard.
Yes, her name is Mandy, Amanda Joseph.
Mm,
She does deco and stuff. So
okay.
she's a
Well,
good
we
friend
have
of
to
mine.
thank man. Now we have to thank Mandy for the fiber then.
Yeah, she's super cool. And she's sleeping, mind you.
Oh, shame, man. So we better not be too noisy, eh?
Yeah, she's kinda cool.
But how are you doing? Despite the glitches and the gremlins and whatnot, are you well?
Yeah, I'm great, man. There's been the year started off roughly, but I'm good. I think it's part of life, and there should be ups and downs. I mean, if everything was just straight line, it would have been
Mm.
everything you reach. It would have been worth it. So getting something after some couple of sacrifices makes it worth it. Anything. I mean, when shooting stuff.
Yeah, I think you're taking very great photos. I don't think I know you're taking very great photos. So, yeah, that's essentially putting you on the right path. So, despite the turbulence that you may have experienced at the start of the year, the photography is going very well, and I think we can show people what you're capable of. So, I'm just going to
Okay.
remove this box. Just give me a moment so people can have a good look at your work. Yeah, so this is what you're capable of. So we'll talk about these images in a little bit, one by one. Jay's going to give us a bit of a rundown as to how he created all of these shots. But just in the meantime, have a look at how talented Mr. J. B. Roman is. All right. So to everybody watching out there in Facebook and YouTube land, you may see the little ticket at the bottom there. If you have any questions, do drop them in the comment section. They all display here on the right-hand side, so everybody can see, yep, what the conversation may be. All right, so Jay, I have some questions from my side. So how did you get into photography? What propelled you into it? Do you mind telling us what gear you used when starting?
Um, it was actually I had this friend of mine, so he was into organizing events. So there was no people shooting, and then he had two cameras. It was a 3000D, the Nikon, and a 550D. So he said, "No, Jay, come. We're gonna take our own pictures." Actually, and we did our
Mm-hmm.
first shoot with a lady. What her name is Shaida. Um, that friend is the one actually that said Jay in the building. Michael Roberts. He's a DJ now. And then from there, I fell in love with photography. And then
Mm-hmm.
he left. I stayed, and then here I am today. Just
So you mentioned a Nikon D3000. So you had that camera. What are you shooting now with?
Oh, yes, no, I was shooting. He was shooting with a Nikon 3000. I was shooting
Oh yeah,
with the
sorry.
550D. Yeah, it's okay. I was shooting with a 550D with a 16 millimeter lens, and from then I was still using that camera. Um, I started off with a 550D with the
Yeah,
60 millimeter, and obviously the 18 to 50, 135, nah, the 18 to 135,
sounds
yeah,
familiar.
yeah, that lens, the Canon, and what I currently shoot with is Fuji
Mm-hmm.
X-T4, the 90 millimeter.
Fuji guy, okay.
Yes, yes, I love the color science. It's crazy. The Canon, it is the hard tones, and um, I'm most of a straight out of camera guy, so I love the film simulations
Mm.
and even the color science as well. It's not that hard, but yeah.
Yeah, I like
Moving
the
forward,
Fuji guys talking about color science. So every second Fuji guy is always color science. It's exactly it, yeah. I love it.
It really helps. Especially I'm a boiler maker. I did boiler making, so by profession. So during the day, and I can't come home, to a lot of editing work. So shooting straight out of camera, and maybe
Mhm.
50% or 90% straight out of camera, editing a little on Snapseed, mind you. Uh,
Okay, interesting. All right, so
yes,
just on that point, straight out of camera. So abbreviation SOOC. I think I have
yes.
seen you kind of getting famous for it as well, the straight out of camera guy. So is it something that you pride yourself on, that you need to do limited editing? And what is any post processing to you like? Any editing? What's the process like?
Um, it has to be right in camera. Remember, I don't have time. I really don't have time. I literally
Like that.
sometimes I come home like half past something like almost 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, sometimes 1 in the morning, and then I have a shoot, and I'm in
Hmm.
corporate shoots, and those are demanding, and I have this a big companies that I shoot. So if I mess up, and I'll have to sit. So my back has always been against the wall. Hence, I had to, be the straight out of camera guy.
Hmm.
Uh, it's by choice. It's no, no, no. It's not by choice. It's by conditions that I was in.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I wouldn't
makes
say
sense. So now go on.
yes, yes. You might.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting, straight out of camera. A lot of photographers spend hours and hours and hours in editing, and what I can see with your work is very professional. The straight out of camera results are extremely stunning, and we'll talk about those images just in a little bit. But we have some questions to get out of the way first. So, first question from the audience. So, a
Okay.
regular to this channel, Mr. J. From the old stomping grounds, haha. Most memorable, should I say, shoot or photo so far. So that from Andrew Samuel Basson.
Okay, Mr. Andrew. Um, it'd probably be the one with the girl with the painting. I think that's yes. I think it's the one that you showed last.
Let
Um,
me try and find it.
yes.
This one.
No. 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 She's no. No.
We're going to
Yes.
go one by one. This one. All
Yes.
right.
Yes. Probably the most memorable picture ever had. That was the first time I've used a strobe, by the way, off camera flash,
Okay.
um, 8200 Pro with the umbrella, the the shoot through umbrella,
All right.
and yeah, a
So I
happy
got a
accident.
question here. Happy
Yes.
accident. Now you say happy
Yeah,
accident with
this
her
was one
painting
of my
is very
pictures,
like,
and yeah, I think this
yep,
one.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, this one highlighted, man, and then people started to say, "Wow!" So I knew I had to, you know, keep the body.
All right, yeah. So it's a little bit of a delay between us, but we can work with that. So question I have. So
Okay.
going off camera, so using the 8200 with the umbrella, what was that experience like? So going from quote unquote using natural light exclusively, so going to the flash game, what was that transition like? And push comes to shove, which one do you prefer, ambient light or using flashes outdoors?
Um, yeah, it was a phenomenal experience. It was really a phenomenal experience because I've never experienced power like that, and even with the I shot a lot of shots, and the 8200 was still full. I was using before that. I was using the XT, the 430 XI, the Canon Speedlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, a friend of mine introduced me to the 8200. I couldn't believe what it was capable of, and even the temperature and everything.
Mm. Now, so
And
the first
but it
thing you
was just
mentioned,
phenomenal.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, it was just phenomenal. And mind you, I we used what we had, and with the results. And I was always seeing guys with soft boxes, and we only had umbrellas. So I was just amazed, and I knew once I get some soft boxes and stuff, it will um it will be uphill from there, or
All
downhill
right.
rather.
So, sorry, with this delay, I have to time my questions correctly. All right. So the
Oh,
first question I have to ask you is, so you mentioned the battery life. That's obviously a big bonus. So you used the traditional Speedlight previously for sport. So that has the AA batteries as opposed to the Godox 8200, which has the big lithium ion block. So that just keeps on going and going and going and going. So for the entire day's worth of shooting, that battery will last the entire time, as opposed to the AA batteries. I remember starting off, I had to carry a
yeah.
bucket load of AA batteries. So it is a massive
Yes,
bonus with that lithium ion battery.
yes, it is because I used to buy like maybe, let's say, 20 batteries,
Yeah.
because you can't use rechargeable batteries. Um, it will misfire. It will just have some kind of malfunction. The speed lights,
Mm.
and then using the lithium was just, I couldn't believe it till this day. I can't. The 82 is just my favorite all-rounder speed light strobe.
Mm. A very interesting point for all around that. It was transformative in my experience using anything with a lithium ion battery. It just propelled my game forward, and it was such a convenience. Yeah, so I'm on board with you. Yeah, that was a very transformative thing to have experienced. Otherwise, the lighting, what you get from the umbrella versus the softbox. So you made mention of the using the umbrellas previously and going to the
Yes.
softboxes. So what did you notice between the two? So which one do you prefer?
Remember, I used to, I used to be so lucky. I used to shoot a hell of a lot of pictures, just to get that four. And then you didn't know what you did
Mm,
previously. You would go to your settings, and then obviously it wouldn't show your flash. Set it just show flash that you use the
mm,
flash, and you wouldn't remember, and it would be like happy accidents. And then, but obviously I did have those. Uh, then I would have my secret, my certain settings that I start up with, the one that I like, the picture that I like,
mm-hmm,
take it from there. But then after getting the 165 changed my life, the bigger modifier and the softbox, the 65. I actually moved from your basic umbrella, the see-through,
mm,
the see-through, and then I moved to the soft dogs, the 65 centimeter, more directional, sharp, but it was still giving me harsh light and a
mm-hmm,
little. Yeah, I had to, adjust a lot. So I think it's almost impossible to get a bad picture with a 165 for me. That's my
mm.
personal experience.
So the
That soft
ones, yeah, so
and
that 165, that being the big Godox umbrella. So you use the big
yes,
umbrella with the diffuser cover in front. So golden rule of light is obviously the bigger the light source, the softer the light is going to be. And
yes,
165 is about the size of a person. So yeah, it's going to get big light out of that and incredibly soft light, especially with that diffuser attached. So
yeah.
using that with what light source? So you made mention of the 8200, but I saw you carry an 8600 BM as well.
Yes, and there's a little trick as well with the umbrella. If you pull that pin it gives you more directional light. It becomes
Yes.
harsh, so you can use it both. If you pull it more backwards, it gives you that more soft because it fills the umbrella with the light.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I use it dual. If I want to go a little bit, you know, on the high key side, I would just pull it, and then if I want it more soft, then upwards because I don't like hotspots.
Yeah,
And
so that's where a big, should I say, big umbrella softbox steps in. So you mentioned that when you move the light closer to get more directional light, when you move it further
yes,
away, it spreads more. Yeah, so you have the option
yes,
of getting that directional quality of light, or if you want the big blanket of light, you
yes,
having that big umbrella, that big parabolic umbrella will give you many options. So yeah, it's a very good light source to buy, light modifier for your light source, should I say. The 8600 BM, do you have it
yes.
here with you?
I do have it here. It's right there. It was I traveled with it just in case I needed some extra lightning, but I saw. Yeah, with the can I show maybe the viewers the umbrella? Can I
Yeah,
get it?
sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay, I'm seeing some interesting comments popping through. So we'll do that as Jay returns. He's just going to brag with his umbrella just a little bit. So once he finds that, once he shows us that umbrella, we'll get to the comments in a moment. So do stick around. We'll get to these comments in a wee bit. Nice fitching his umbrella. He's going to brag with it, make us all
I'm
jealous.
back.
Here we go.
Yo, finally. This is the diffuser.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I love it.
And that, when it rains, you can keep the entire crew underneath the umbrella.
Yes. Even and even your strobe will survive.
Of course, yes. All right.
Yeah.
So the big umbrella. I promised the audience I'm going to get to some questions and some comments because I see some very nice ones here for you. So first one. So from Pakamani, the only guy I know that is the king of photography and a phenomenal friend. That's a very, very nice compliment.
Yeah, it is, man. Sometimes I'll be having a bad day, and then
Now
I'll be
somebody props you up with a comment like that. That's
yeah,
wonderful.
and he's a great friend as well. I've always told him, and the wealth of knowledge that he has, he's just crazy. I just wish he would do what you call it, a YouTube channel or something.
Okay, well, let's all motivate Pakamani to do that. So if you're still listening, start that YouTube channel. Mr. J has spoken.
Please. Yes, please.
All right, from Michael Roberts, famous words by JB. If one makes it, we all make it. Super proud of you, my boy.
Yeah, that's we started from, I usually would say from the trenches. Yes, that's the guy who would usually give me his car. We would look at each other's fuel gauge, and then if he says more, I would take his, to go and see my kid
I
and
like that.
stuff.
That's
So
a
that's
good
where we started.
partnership.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, so question. Jay, what would be the ultimate camera to work with for you? So give us a reminder of what you're working with concurrently and what your dream camera may be. I'm assuming something with nice color shines, eh?
Of course. I'm a Fuji. I'm hooked.
No problem with that.
Yes. I used to shoot with a 550D camera. I think it's getting sold now for 3,000. And yeah, the lens is 4K. And what I shoot with now is a XT4 with 16 to 55 2.8 and 90mm f2. My dream camera is currently in my hands. Yeah, and a camera is just a camera. There are a lot of things that my camera can't do. I don't think there will ever be the perfect camera. There will always be that. But I'm surprised. I'm kindly I'm satisfied with what the capabilities of this one, because this is my first mirrorless camera, mind you, the first ever pro camera that I bought. I've been shooting with the 550D. I've been shooting like executives, the mayors, and everything. That 550D paid for everything.
Yeah.
I currently do have. So the best camera is still in my hands, the XT4. I love it.
All right, so you're going to put that on a t-shirt. The best camera is the one that you have in your hands.
Yes.
All right. So with your signature as well, best camera is the one in your hands, JB Roman.
I would do that. I really need to.
Yeah, we need the merchandise, Jay. We need the merchandise.
Yeah. We need to keep printing that paper. We need to be printing.
Yeah, of course. All right, yeah. So it was a bit of a curveball. I expected, when I ask that question, what camera do you want? People say, I want that big medium format, or I want X, Y, and Z Sony, or this Fuji. But yeah, it is absolutely true what you said. As the person behind the camera, that matters a lot
Yes.
more. My camera is about 5 years old and it's still going. It's a bit of an old tank, but yeah, it does the job. And yeah, so as you said, it is the camera in
Yeah.
hand that makes the photographer.
Andrew, what did Andrew say?
Let's pop it
The
up.
Yeah, that's
There might
work.
never be a perfect camera, though. There'll always be amazing lenses, which is also an interesting point.
Yes, yes. All the lenses has its own character,
Mm.
and yeah, it's just amazing.
Let's see what else we got from the audience. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the questions. Jay is amazing. Always willing to share some tips and tricks. And we'll get more into that as we prod along. But yeah, thank you for that. Petru,
Thank you.
I love my big 165 umbrella. Yeah, it's one of the top 5 modifiers.
Yeah.
So that 165, the big softbox as well, optical snoot, which I see you've been using as well, optical snoot.
Yes.
The traditional snoot and a barn door. That's never leave home without it.
Yes, of course.
So more questions. Thank you, people. From Samantha. Do you see yourself doing fashion photography, fine art photography, or more documentary photography?
Yes, I love fashion. Um, Currently studying the new journey of the fine art one, especially with the generative feel. It's crazy. I just wanted to look realistic, but I've always loved fine art photography. People that shoot, they usually have owls and animals, and they shoot kids. I've always wanted to do it with my daughter, but I'm staying,
Mm,
in another city. Hence, I haven't started, or rather being delaying. Not sure because of work and yeah, the demand. There's not much time to do creative shoots. If I do get a chance, I feel so blessed because I have to prioritize some couple of
hmm
corporate shoots and stuff to to pay to keep the lights on.
Sure.
Yes,
So you mentioned being in another city. So people are missing you in Kroonstad, it seems. But
yes,
from
yes. I
Monique.
do miss them. I do miss them as well. They are really phenomenal people. I couldn't. They are, and the locations as well that they have is just
Mm.
crazy.
And when you do your workshops, because I see this is a comment from Monique as well. So if you do workshops, Kroonstad has to be number one location, it seems.
Yes, I have to. I have to give back, like where I grew up, home. I can't forget where I come from. And they say, your head in the sky, feet on the ground. I have to just go. It's just principle. I think
Yeah,
it's just the
absolutely.
normal, the right thing to do.
Now that's completes one's journey when you go back to where you started off with. Yeah. So many movies are like that. So it's called Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. So you go out on your journey, you enter the chaos, you learn wisdom, you learn all of these things, then you return what you all started off with.
Yeah,
Bring back
yeah.
all of that wisdom and expertise and repeating the cycle from there. Yeah. So it's absolutely worthwhile thing to do. Going back to where we started.
Yeah, and you
Question
feel
from my side.
okay.
So, how do you make your subject feel comfortable? So, when doing studio photography or outdoor photography, not only in terms of posing, but let's start from point A. How do you create a comfortable and relaxing environment for your subjects? And when it comes to the posing, do you have any tips and tricks in regards to that?
Okay. Usually the client will, let's say, WhatsApp most of the time, like 80%, 99, oh, 90% of the time, they would WhatsApp, hey Jay, can I have a price list? Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking for? No, I want to. Okay, cool. You have something in mind? Yes. Can you please send me those pictures? Okay. Okay, I can do this. Um, how many are you? And then we would set the date. Then they would come.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, cool. When they come, I'm a very bilingual guy as well. So when you speak Afrikaans, I can some of your prat. English, I can,
Baie mooi
Sotho.
Afrikaans gepraat toe jy met Mandy georganiseer het.
Ja, ek praat 90% of 100% van die tyd
Hmm.
Afrikaans. Yes, and then Sotho, Tswana, Zulu. So whichever race comes, I can, I make them feel
Mhm.
complete. Yeah, they usually so impressed because other people would think, no, I can't praat, and then he would say, nee man, you can't heal it praat. And then okay, that's the thing, the language. So the language barrier is already,
Mhm.
it's cut, it's solved, and then we would have we will have a talk, a mini. We won't even start shooting, we will just talk here and there. Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I can't pose, I can't. So no, 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 don't worry. Um, I would usually have a storyboard of,
Ja.
or even the pictures that he showed me, then I'll tell him, you can pose like this but not exactly like this. We can just,
Mm.
just play
Yeah.
around. I
Good
want
point.
you in that picture. I don't
Mm.
want posing like that lady. We can try it, but
Ja.
you can do it your way. You can spice it up. You don't have to,
Mm.
maybe the hand is up there. You don't have to do that. You can just, do it your own way. And you would feel, and she would also know that, no, this is me. Then I would show her the picture and show, like, this is it, this is not it. You can see, and
Mhm.
this laugh, this is not it, man. And the viewers, if I can see you are lying, the viewers can also see. So
Yeah.
let's do
Good
it.
point.
I don't mind. I'm trigger happy. I don't mind shooting. And then we would shoot, shoot, shoot. Other people get it right the first half an hour. Other people not. And then I have that tolerance, that hour, half an hour. I don't take a shoot like shoots after every hour. After this hour, I must be at that. No, I have that
Mm.
tolerance of, yes, 2 hours, and then I would book another shoot. Just in case the client is
Of course, yeah.
totally, yeah, totally
Yeah,
stiff.
sometimes it takes people a little bit to warm up as well. So if you plan an hour and they warm up only 45 minutes into that hour, that's kind of
Yes,
wasted. You want that extra half an hour on that hour. Yeah. So I'm also not strict in terms of this many hours or this many half an hours whatsoever.
yes,
My method of approach here is to plan half a day and whatever is necessary, whatever time is necessary to get the winning shots. Now we can work around that. Yeah. So I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
strict with timing whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I always tell them, if you look bad, I look bad. So let's work. You
Mm.
know, yes, people will. If I look, nah, man, I wouldn't be able to live with myself to, knowing I took bad shots and I
Mm.
said no, it's okay. Then the client must leave. Nah,
Oof. Yeah.
yeah, I'll rather just shoot more. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
All right. So speaking of which, I think it's time to jump into your photos. But before we do that, Sibusiso has a comment. How did I miss this? I thought it was happening tomorrow. All right. So if you are late to the party, you can watch this from the beginning. So it will be on CameraStuff's YouTube page. Yeah, so you can watch it from the beginning. Yeah. So fret not. You won't miss anything technically. So if you want to catch this interview from the beginning, just go to CameraStuff, shop YouTube, and it will be available there forever. Yeah. So you can catch up on what we spoke about earlier as well. So I think let's move this chat box, blah, blah, blah. And we're
okay.
going to do your photos. So what I want you to do is to give us a bit of a description, a briefing as to what went on in these images. So in terms of lighting modifiers, what inspired you, who the model is, everything. So anything that you want to mention, we can fly with it. So the floor is yours. Picture number one.
Okay, this model's name is Sarah Lee. It's actually my third time shooting her, or the third
Mm-hmm.
time she booked. We both didn't know what we're going to do. She just came to the studio and said, "Look, I want to shoot." And then we sat down, and she had a drink, um, had one as well, and then I decided, no, you know what? Let us use this optical snoot. Let us use this light. And then I had these gloves that's been lying there for
Mm-hmm.
some time, and also the rose. And okay, and then she sat there. Um, I adjusted the light accordingly because I switched it off and used the modulant light to make things
Mm-hmm.
easier, just to see the model where the light's going to fall, just to get it to be intentional. And then I'll use the 165 for fill light, just to soften up those dark areas, because sometimes I don't want the dark blacks, those deep blacks. I just want to see, yes. Sometimes I would. And then just some hair light on your right with orange gel,
All right.
and
So, first
that's
question I have.
the shoot, the shot.
All right. So, first question I have. Sorry, I'm just getting my timing right when I should ask a question. So, optical snoot. In your own words, describe what that is, because that sounds like a bit of a weird thing. So, how do you go about using an optical snoot? And first of all, describe what it does.
Okay, optical snoot is it's a black thingy with a lens in front. You can adjust the lens how sharp you want those patterns, and then you would put a strobe at the back. It also has colors, but then it has this thing that they call gobos. What others look like these artificial windows, others look like these dots, these that you would see in clubs, all of those patterns. But you can buy more if you want to. I think it comes out with 5, mine. And
Okay. If you don't mind, I'm going to slip off to the side quickly because I have one here in my studio.
okay, that will help. That will help. Please.
Oh, sorry, everyone. Left everyone high and dry.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that. Just had to go fetch one of these optical snoots, so I can show people what that looks like. Just going to disable this guy. All right. So optical snoot is right here. So it's like a traditional snoot, but you use a lens on it. So the lens you use on the optical snoot, and that creates a projection of light. So as Jay mentioned, you have a thing known as a gobo. So the gobo you can best describe as a light stencil, and you place it inside of the optical snoot, and it will project that shape onto your subject or onto the background. So here specifically, I have one that looks like angled window panes, but we do have a variety of these gobos available. So in the image that Jay just described, I'll pop it back on. Yeah, so you can see what's happened there. So with the optical snoot, you place the gobo or any specific gobo within the optical snoot, and it can project that shape onto your subject. Put it down. All right. Yep. So that being the optical snoot, and also in addition to what you used with that was a fill-in light, because as mentioned, you didn't want those dark shadows. You wanted to fill in the darker areas ever so slightly. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect, makes
That's
sense. Yeah.
correct.
So with the optical snoot, I've seen you've been using it a lot lately. So are you
Yes,
enjoying the optical snoot?
I do. I really do, and just trying to, to push the boundaries because even getting that shadow at the back was a hassle.
It is a
Um,
hassle, eh? I made mention of a modeling lamp and aiming that light precisely where you want it. It's a nightmare. So you need a
yes,
powerful modeling lamp just to help you out to guide the light. If you're using a speed light, you don't know where the light is going, and so you need to take test shots and move the subject and take test shots, and hopefully happy accidents in between.
yes, and yeah, if you got the willing model or people that are patient, you are very lucky.
Mm, absolutely. Let's look at the second image. So on the left-hand side was optical snoot again, but instead used a, I assume, dotted gobo, it looks like. So
Yes,
pattern dots. All
yes.
right, so describe us what happened here.
Okay, I didn't even knew this model just recently came from Milan, Italy.
Oh, nice. Fancy.
Yes, I didn't know. I just saw her have she had freckles. She was on my Facebook, so I saw this lady having this freckles and having this type of look, and I totally loved her. I DM'd her. Luckily, she said she has time, and she came up with basically like with the styling.
Hmm.
It was all her, and even the poses as well. She really enjoyed it, and it was I also enjoyed it because it happened so organically. We were just shooting, she was just posing and posing, and I was just shooting and shooting. It was really nice session.
All right, so backdrop that he used here. So are you
Oh,
keen on PVCs or paper or cotton? Do you have a preference? What did you use in this specific shot?
the specific shot, I love the white one. It all
Mm-hmm.
depends how you know position your light. You would get the gray,
Mm.
and if you want to have that pure white, you would lit up the backdrop. But most of the times I just use the 8600 and the 165. That's my go-to, and slightly 45 up there, and then boom. I think
Got the
it's just
light,
that
yeah.
easy. I think everybody can do it. It's just impossible um, to get a bad shot with that modifier.
Absolutely. It's a big light modifier, so it spread lights quite evenly. If you pull the umbrella away from the light source, that is. To
Yes.
get nice even shots, even lighting from head to toe. Yeah, it's a beautiful light modifier. So I don't know if you mentioned the material of the backdrop. So was it
Okay,
paper,
so
PVC,
PVC.
or PVC? Yeah. So the PVC is great. I have a PVC behind me as well. I'm using I don't know, I'm moving to the side. It's a Godox LC500, making it green. I'll show in a future video how I got the background green.
I love those. Is it the RGB lights that you use?
Yes, it's the RGB one. Let's see. I'm going to brag a
I
little bit.
love
Just give
it.
me a moment.
I think it revolutionized everything. Oh, I love it. Pink, blue,
No, I can
orange.
have different colors here on me. I'm going to give that a shot. Maybe it's going to hypnotize some of our audience, but let's see.
Yes.
Hypnotize, buy products from CameraStuff, buy products from CameraStuff.
Yeah. Get it the next day. Get it the next day.
Love it. All right, so I have a question.
Okay.
It's a very, I know I get different answers from people, but what defines a perfect portrait to you?
Um, it has to be authentic. It has to happen organically. It has to make me feel you it's like you feel when you captured that one picture, you will even when you get home, you will see, this is and yeah, most people will say expression, composition, and yes, it plays a role,
Hmm.
but you definitely know deep down in your heart when you have that one.
Yes.
um yeah, and that will include expression, and I think I am um I when you've reached a certain level, the other things you just do it. It just comes automatically, with
Mm,
your compositions and your everything. So, but obviously, it will be. I have to capture the essence of that person. I have
yeah,
to capture the real that person deep down. The eyes, everything will tell you that this is the one. And of course, yeah, it will be.
mm,
Yeah, but I know I come home and I see this picture, and this picture literally talks to me, and I know this is the one. Sometimes you get where you cut even a limb, you just stepped over, you colored in the other lines, and then but you would know,
mm,
yes, there's just that pictures. And
mm.
art
Yeah,
is
so
not
it's
supposed to be perfect. I don't believe that art is supposed to be perfect, man. We all want that perfect picture and that perfect, the angle and everything, and with, yeah.
all right. So a couple of questions. Okay, before we answer that, I want to just on your point say that that was a brilliant answer. Yeah, so the authenticity, sorry, blah, 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 authenticity that you get from your images, and in saying that art isn't perfect, I think what matters a great deal is the interaction between you and your model, you and subject. Where there's a tag team partnership, and obviously they can flourish. You guide them, you direct them, you bring out the best in them. And I always think that it's the best compliment a photographer can get is when so when a model says, "You brought out the best in me." Like this is a side that I haven't seen myself. As I say, yeah,
Yes.
this is a great compliment, and yeah, so I do agree with all of your wording there. On a day, what makes a great portrait is it's the interaction between you and subject, and allowing both to flourish, allowing yourself to flourish, and allowing subject to flourish as well.
Yes.
All right, so as promised, let's get to the questions here. So, how different is the optical snoot from the actual snoot? Can you use gobos with a normal snoot? I don't know if you want to take over, Jay.
Nah, I'll give that one to you, man.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so with a normal snoot, no, unfortunately, you need a optical snoot. So the optical snoot has an internal lens and an external lens. So you need a focusable lens attached to the what looks like a snoot. But with a normal traditional snoot, unfortunately not. You're going to need a couple of lenses built into the device to create a sharp projection of the gobo that you're using. So I think this one's for you, Jay. This is one of my favorite models from Milan. You have shot, bro. She seems very easy to work with. You have captured her very well.
Oh,
That's from
thank you, man.
Jabang. Are
Yeah,
we
that's
doing well,
also,
Jabang?
yes, he's a phenomenal guy. Phenomenal work as well, man. He's, just keep punching.
Yeah, it's interviewed Jabang quite a while ago. Awesome chat.
Yeah, I
All
watched it.
right. Oh, awesome. Great. So it comes, what comes around goes around. So with this image, I want to talk about her color contrast here. So this is the first time you used the gloves and the rose. So that against the blue backdrop creates some nice contrast, some great storytelling here. So the hands handling the rose, the hands being the same color as the rose. So some nice storytelling here, that being contrasted against the cold backdrop. So I do find this image very fascinating. So I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes, this is also phenomenal uh, human. Okay. Um, we've been planning to have a shoot, but we didn't know. And then she said her grandma made her a dress. And then she sent me a video, and
Mhm.
then I said, nah, this is the one. This is you are Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
And yes, and then we went with the theme, and she uh, came with the cup, and then I also had like a couple of props, obviously the
Sure.
gloves and the rose from the previous shoot. And then we shot. We both loved this one, and the backdrop is kind of it's dark blue, but
Yeah.
I wanted it to have some kind of fine art effect.
Yes.
So yeah, I desaturated the background a little um, to
Hmm.
yeah to get it to get the colors to harmonize like that, and yeah, I didn't want it to, just to be out there. You know, I wanted it to stand
Yep.
out a little more.
So it was a blue backdrop. So this is not Photoshop trickery. Of course not. You're a straight out of camera guy. So this is a nice blue backdrop that you used. As mentioned by yourself, the color harmonies work very fantastically well in this image. So that red popping against the blue backdrop, it tickles my brain. I really love it.
Yes, and if you can see on your right hand corner, the backdrop is, slightly. I should have cropped it or just used the healing tool or something, or just you know, to.
I think that's fine. I don't have any quibbles about that. So you're making reference to the darker corner, or
Yes, if you can see, the backdrop is actually. So that was the one that I used on social. I thought, man, but
no, I don't
yeah,
mind that
out there
whatsoever. Yeah.
now.
So with the darker corner, it just brings the attention to the middle of the to the middle of the photo. I don't mind it. So it's a natural vignetting that happens. So it's an
Yeah.
interesting composition. It draws the eyes to where they need to go.
Yes, this was the one picture that I knew. This is the one after we
I
shot.
agree with
We
you.
had
This
a
is the
couple of
one.
nice ones. Yeah, and this is the one that's going to hang.
Yeah, but this is another one. I think all of your photos are the one. You're taking great photos, Mr. J. All right. So optical snoot again, I suspect. Tell us a little bit more here.
Yes, it was twins that I shot.
Yeah.
So this was the single ones, and they really wanted something different. And this was the first time I've shot with the optical snoot directly. you know. So it was a happy accident, and then I went on with it, adjusted the light a little as well. But there was no fill light, because usually when you shoot white clothes, you lose all of the details. So I was kind of impressed with
Mm-hmm.
the short hands here, and then I would use the V1 as that with the orange gel on your
Mm-hmm.
left. Yes, for the hair, and a little bit of separation as well. So yeah, many people
How did
struggle
you?
with. How did I?
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, no, no. It's okay. How did I?
Now, I wanted to ask, how do you go about posing the models? So I think this is a very good pose as well. So, must miss you telling the model just to hoy with her poses, or how do you normally direct and guide models into specific poses?
Yes, this. She said actually, and then I said, no, 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 no. Can you lift up? She was in that position. So what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted, if you can see her feet, I said, no, no, lift it up a little bit, and then take your hand up, and then I would just shoot. I would shoot like 3, 4, 5 shots with the same, just
Mm-hmm.
hoping that one, and then yeah, because she can't be in that position for long. And then we would shoot, laugh, and then try again, and I would show them, and they would do it, and that's how I keep them engaged and interested,
Mm.
uh, because usually when they see, that's when their eyes lit up, and then they would just, no, 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 let me try this one, and then they try that, and
Yes.
then yeah, it's just that nice, it creates a nice environment in the studio as well.
I must say it's very heartwarming listening to you describe how you go about your work. You can obviously tell that this is a very big passion for you, and just how you go about describing the little details and how you go about your business. So you can hear in your voice this is something that you very much love doing.
I do. People will never, if I have to, I would never be enough. They wouldn't believe me. I didn't have a bed, and I bought the 8200 Pro, and I
Hmm.
was sleeping on the ground, mind you. So that's
Oh
how.
gosh, so that is a something that you need to put on a poster just to remind you of. So no, I don't. We can make light of it, obviously, but it's these are
Yeah.
big stories that needs to be shared. So you self-describing that you slept on the floor and going from strength to strength. Obviously, the by the sounds of it, the Godox 8200 was a big milestone in your career. Obviously, with the cameras and the lenses and whatnot, but all of these little bits and pieces. Hopefully we don't take for granted. It's the little milestones that we achieve in life, and often it's the gear that is reflective of that as well. I know I'm very my camera is like a baby to me, so I'm very
Yes.
sentimental with the camera
Yeah,
and the gear and
yo,
whatnot.
yes, yes.
Because I'm not comparing us, or you struggled far worse than I have. But I know a long time ago it was buying that camera for the first time. It was a huge milestone. You just can't forget that, and it's always worthwhile looking back at it. And that's why I said you need to have like a little poster or something, a reminder of that, just to show where you have been and what your milestones have been. So very
Yeah,
inspirational.
it is. And if I can add as well, the 550D bought everything. It wasn't.
Mm,
I didn't go out there and buy new gear. No, I was shooting uh, literally the mayors and the mine managers and everybody with the 550D, but they didn't care because the quality
mm.
was there. So, and that bought everything that I have today.
So you're probably not going to sell that camera, hey? So before we talk about this picture, so the 550D is probably going to be used as a trophy.
Yes,
Something to use on a mantelpiece, or you can probably put it in a box frame and have it in a living room. This is the thing that got me into my career.
most definitely.
Mm.
I would, but my daughter loves using it. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
that's even better. Yeah, so to pass the mantle on to the next generation or to anyone else for that matter. The same gear that got you into the game. It's about spreading the love and making sure that generation top of generation, the love of photography continues.
yes, and yeah, children mimic. So you can't
Yep.
tell them go read and you don't read. They mimic. They don't
Mhm.
listen. Okay.
Yeah, it's very true. It's want to work with the hands, want to get busy, want to see results for themselves. Can't always trust the theory, sit down and read a book. Doesn't always work
Yeah.
like that. All right. So tell us about this image.
Okay. I've always loved shooting ballerinas, and I wanted my daughter to
Hmm.
be one, but she doesn't like it. And so I decided, okay, we are going to create this movement like a ballerina, and then it came out like this, like some type
Hmm.
of breaking free. I love that
Mm.
expression. We had a lot, but I chose this one. Um, but the ultimate goal was the ballerina, the dancer, and then the
How'd you go
expression.
about creating the movement in the frame? So was it a slow exposure? Did you flash and allow the subject to move with a slow shutter speed?
Yes, I don't have continuous light. So what I did
Mm.
is I took the V1, the modulant light. You
Hmm.
have to have a black backdrop to record everything. So it was a 4 second shot, f11, and use the second curtain, not the first one.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
yes, you wouldn't shoot and then the flash would go off. It will go off after the 4 seconds, and then it would freeze that motion. So what I
Mm.
did to capture the movement, I used the V1's modulant light and the
Okay.
8200 on my left hand side, and we and then I told her just to move, and then that's what we came about.
That's a fascinating result. So how many tries did this take you? I remember doing something similar a long time ago. It was so many different shots, so many different tries. Getting that timing right, because you can't always predict what happens in what you explained 4 second shutter speed. Like you have to time 4 seconds. This is point A, this is point B. You need to move
I
gradually
was
from point A to B.
no. I was telling her, I was literally counting. Like, okay, Sam, her name is Samantha. I said, Sam,
Hmm.
yo, we are on four now. I'm pressing. We are four, three, two, one, freeze. And then she would freeze on the 1 second, and then the light will go off. Pa. And yeah, and then we would do it again. I think it took like 6 shots. We didn't struggle that much, funny enough.
Yeah, I
And then we
think
had a couple. I
sounds like you were
was,
doing a much better job than I did. Because I did not do the countdowns and say, oh, this is where you need to be. This is 1 second freeze. Do this. Yeah.
yes,
So
we
again, I
moved.
say it. Yeah, you can hear the passion in your voice when describing these things. It's very heartwarming.
Yeah, so it was really nice.
All right, so this is your, I think you said your most memorable shot. So do you want to go through it again as to why it's your most memorable shot?
Yeah, it was the first time using the
Mm,
82, and this model just nailed it. And I built everything there uh, myself, the frame, and that is my mom's painting. It's actually still hanging in our living room. And
okay.
yes, um, yeah. So I love everything of this shot. Um, I do
So
even
do you
the
want to tell us where the positioning of the lights were? So how many lights? Was it just the 8200? What modifier did you use with it? So I'm
yes,
assuming frame left. So just out of
yes,
shot here. And what the light is doing is also creating a light on the, I forgot what you call it. It's the frame that the painting is on. I know that has a fancy word. Maybe people in the comment
yes,
section can help me out. But the light from 8200 is just creating a nice uh, sight light on that, which just helps with the contrast. But the sight lighting on her face just creates very nice dimension on the subject as
yes.
well. So what
I
was
love
the
it.
modifier?
It was the shoot through umbrella.
That's not bad, eh? The shoot through is a nice plan B light modifier. I don't mind using it whatsoever. So if
I
the
also
big
do.
umbrella breaks, so if the big umbrella breaks or the softbox goes missing, it's always have to shoot through umbrellas with me.
I do sometimes also shoot with the shoot through
Mm,
umbrellas, and even with the smaller soft boxes and everything. You know, when you're in motion, when you know exactly, when you are intentional, I believe you would um, get the similar results because conditions change, and if you are not ready for any condition, um, you it's not a nice
mm.
feeling. So being ready, it's always been nice. You know.
Now, plus you always don't have room for the big softboxes and the big umbrellas. So in
Yes.
confined spaces, so especially working indoors, the shoot through umbrellas are very, very useful light modifier.
Yes.
All right. So tell us about this image. So I do love this one very much. It's the dark cloth around her face. It just helps with the contrast. You bring her face out. It's just a wonderful shot.
Oh, thank you. I've always loved this shot, mind you.
Mm.
This was her name is Keisha. Her name is Keisha. She was my first brand ambassador when I came to Katu, and
Uh-huh.
I was still using the 550D. This was shot with a 550D with
Yeah.
the 60 millimeter lens f2 at f2.8. Yeah, f2.8. Yeah, f2.8. Uh, with the SS, the shutter speed was 1,000. Um, the theme of the shoot was misunderstood. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Okay. Tell us a
yes,
bit more about that.
about the misunderstood theme. There's actually there's a
Mm.
follow up picture of this one where
Sure.
yes,
Okay. So it's a
um,
couple of images in combination that create a story. So this is just
yes,
one part of it.
and
Okay.
yes, and that just gets to show. I mean, this was shot with, and um, this is my ultimate favorite image, my all time shot with a 65 millimeter centimeter softbox and 8200 550D 60 millimeter 2.8 at 2.8. Um, yeah, it was just it just gets to show who's behind. And obviously I've always loved the tones. I didn't do
Mm.
much. Always she has that smooth skin, that look, that moody look. I've always loved moody portraits. I'm not
Mm.
sure why, but yeah.
Nice. Sorry, I left myself on mute for a second. This is something I always find myself difficult describing in words, but maybe you can do a much better job.
No, no,
So
no, I
obviously,
can't.
this was high-speed sync, was it not?
Yes, it was. It was shot at 16:30, 16:38
Mm.
p.m. Yes.
So
Um,
maybe in a couple of sentences, can you describe high-speed sync, what that is, and how that can be useful?
okay, high speed sync outside, um, especially. I would use high speed sync outside because it just gets to, you get to balance your ambient light because your
Mm.
subject will be overexposed, because your curtain closes at 250 at most
Yeah.
cameras. So high speed scenes allows you to go beyond 250 shutter speed, and then you can balance the ambient with your subject and just paint with light whichever way you want it. If you want the background darker, you can do that even
Mm.
in daytime. If you want it, you can just, if you want it balanced, neutral. If you want it to look like in real time, other people like more realistic, and other people like to get to be more on the art side. Other people, yeah, you can just do whatever variety of images you want to create. You can do it with high speed sync.
Oh, that was a good explanation. Yeah. Normally, when I describe high-speed sync, I always need to use my hands to describe the movement of the shutters, and 250th of a second can't go past that, otherwise you get the black bar. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to call you next time I need to describe high-speed sync.
No,
Okay.
please, no. No. Um,
All right. So this image, I think one of the first few images I saw from you. So when I started noticing your work, so this is what put you on my map at least.
okay, nice.
So, do you
Her
want to
name
tell
is
us a little bit
Shadow.
more about it?
Yes. The lady that I'm sitting here, Mandy. She's she's the one that borrowed me those peonies, those flowers, and
Hmm.
this is her sister.
Okay, interesting. And the
Yes.
backdrop. So was this paper backdrop, I assume?
Yes, I've got the orange, even the PVC and the blue and the pink from you guys. The color consistency, it's just pure. Shooting with
Mm.
paper is just it. It eliminates a lot of things. You can't go wrong. I mean, it's that easy. I don't want to sound like photography is easy, but yeah, it becomes easy if you even if you have a mentor. There's a shortcut. That's the shortcut of photography.
I think that, yeah,
And
that's fair to say. Yeah. So certain aspects, once you get used to it, once you start doing it over and over again, you kind of
yeah,
wonder why you struggled in in the first place. But it's all about practicing and getting your hands dirty, doing it over and over
yeah,
again.
ten
And once
thousand
you do it
hours.
over
Yeah,
and over, and yes, yes, absolutely, yeah. So once you do the 10,000 hours, it becomes second nature. And as I said, you wonder how and where you struggled before, but obviously it's the experience and um, the expertise that comes into the equation.
yeah. So I wanted a nice soft light with this, and also shadows. I really love shadows. That's dimension and just a tad of full light from my left hand side with a V1. But this was shot with a 8200 and a V1, and this is what I got. And that she literally looks that way. What you see there
Mm.
is, there's not a lot of post processing that have been done.
Yeah, Mr. Straight Out of Camera. It's another thing that you need to put on a t-shirt, eh? I'm
Uh,
giving you merchandising idea in need commission in the future.
yeah, I need to come
um,
and review the video and
yes, yes, yes.
all of those sayings printed.
How was the swing attached? Is it on a ceiling or boom system, crane system?
Okay. I made it. Okay, yeah. In the morning, I made this swing, and I love that blue color, turquoise. I've always loved
Mm.
it, and I knew it would harmonize with the orange, and that peony is the pink. As soon as I put it there, I knew, and then I cut it out. I have a couple of tools, the jigsaws, and skill saws and the rotors and everything. And I hanged it on in the garage. I have a I don't have ceiling yet, so the
Hmm.
branding helped. But usually, what people do, I think they take eyeballs with the screws, and then they screw it in. Or other people take those stands with the bar. Um,
Interesting.
yes, but I'm a little afraid if people are going to sit there, if it's going to fall. So the eyeball with the with the thread would be better if you
Hmm.
put it on a
Okay,
ceiling.
interesting.
Yes.
Now, so it's just a prop, not a thing for people to actually swing on. They have
Yes.
to sit very carefully. But yeah, so it's there for the studio, and it looks fantastic. Really do love this shot. All
Thank
right,
you.
so what's next? Okay, this is our last image. So, what do you have to say about this one?
Yo. Um, this image was this lady always had Christina. She's also on my Facebook. She always
Hmm.
had traditional clothes on and took pictures with a cell phone. Uh, so I asked her like, "Would you mind if I capture these images for you?" And then she said yes. And then we went out and created this image. What I loved about this was also a happy accident, to be honest, because the light was facing the other direction. It was just hitting half of her face. The
Yeah,
softbox, the 65 millimeter. I was this was also shot with a 550D, the 2.8, and at 2.8. What else? 65 centimeter softbox, 8200. And when I came home, I did a little bit of adjustments to get that shadows in there,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
if you can look at the eyes as well, um,
That's very
this
captivating.
magic,
Yes.
yes. This was one of my favorites. I didn't even mind, I just totally fell in love with it, and I knew this was the one.
Sounds like you're very passionate about this one. It's a very captivating shot, and this is one that's worthy to go on the wall as well.
Yeah,
Someone
it is.
erase as well. But yeah,
It's
this one
already
is
there.
very good. I love it.
It's there. It's already there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
one of my favorite images.
So one step ahead of me then. All right. So comments still. Beautiful work, my brother. That's from success. Let's see if I
Thank
missed
you.
any. Seems we covered most of it. So if you're still watching, do drop your questions and comments and they'll appear in a little box here. So let's see from Africa. Beautiful portrait, Jay. Yeah, the compliments
Thank you,
keep
man.
streaming in. All right, so a
Thank
couple of more questions from me. So, question I have: do you have any
okay.
resources such as books or YouTube channels or people that you look up to that you can recommend to others as well?
People are usually my resources. I
Hmm?
found that YouTube is just full of, they even use tools on YouTube that you don't have. It's just a maze on YouTube. So
Hmm.
if you have a mentor, if you have someone that's doing what you want to do already, it's nice to have a mentor. I believe it's a shortcut. If somebody can ask me, I would just, I wouldn't delay them. I would just tell them, nah,
Hmm.
this is how you do it. And then the next day they will be able to capture some beautiful images, I believe. But you have to have the passion, you have to love it, you have to, put in the time as well, because it took a whole
Hmm.
lot of shooting, to shoot a certain way.
Hmm.
Books. I haven't read books yet, but I've ordered some on is it tricks? I think, yeah, tricks of something.
Sounds right, yeah? Hmm?
Yeah, on Take a Lot. And yeah, Andrew is on speed dial.
Mr. Ayman's on speed dial. So go
Yeah,
to
he's
SF
on speed.
Photography, that Facebook group. Yeah. So if you have a question, Jay is like there immediately. I think he has
Yeah,
clones. I must think he has clones because
yeah, he
he
does.
asks a question and it's immediately Andrew, hey man, blah 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 blah, and oh
I
gosh, and it's around 24/7. Does the man get sleep? I don't know.
Yes, it told me he sleeps at 3 o'clock because we were supposed to do some a live or on Snapchat or something, and then
Hmm?
um yeah, I was just caught up with some errands, and then he said, no, I sleep at 3 o'clock, so don't worry. I said, like, yo, bro.
Yes.
uh,
Either he doesn't sleep or he has clones. I'm convinced he has clones. This is Mr.
yeah,
Heyman, multiple ones out there. But yeah,
and
as
then I
mentioned,
had
go to SA Photography Facebook group. That's great resource to learn as well.
yeah, and then we have this group on WhatsApp as well, with Pakamani and
Hmm?
yeah, PS Nyokong. All three. We
Okay.
usually share our images there and give some input on how it would have done. It would have been better if you maybe just shoot at the different location, or even the colors, or even the clothes doesn't match the scene, or even the scene, or just overall we just would be talking about photography, and
Mm,
we just plug each other with gear as well,
mm.
and what would make your life easier if you want to you know venture
Sounds
in
like an
some.
awesome, sounds like a great friendship circle. I think I need to pull all of you in for a live session so we can have a nice little round table. I think that's
Yeah,
an idea. We can
yes,
plan
yes.
that in the near future. So if load shedding stays like this, gosh, it's always an issue, load shedding. Yeah, but if it stays like this, we would have an opportunity to host multiple people at once. At the moment, if you have a person in Cape Town and Durban and Polokwane,
Yeah.
it's like really tricky to have a live session like this around all of the load shedding schedules. But yeah, hopefully, if it stays like this, we can perhaps plan something in the future. What do you say?
Yes, absolutely. It's always nice to share some information and to teach us to
Mm,
learn.
of course, yeah.
Mind you, to teach us to, because you also now you're going to have to do some research, and
Mm,
do research on gear. Even the gear that I'm using, I don't believe I'm using it to its maximum, output or capacity. But now, if I have to
uh,
teach someone, I'm gonna have to tell him, this thing. They're gonna ask me some really difficult questions, and then to teach is to learn.
of course, yeah. To teach, that's how I got into my career. I was shoved into doing workshops, and hardly knew anything myself. So, mentoring and doing workshops, and providing advice to people—that's probably the fastest way to learn about anything, because you're going to be put on a spot, and obviously don't want to embarrass yourself. So, obviously,
Yeah,
learning quite a lot and very quickly as well. Yep. So, as you said, to teach is to learn, and to learn is to teach.
yeah.
Another
Your back
t-shirt
is
idea.
against the wall. When your back is against the wall, then
Of course,
yep,
yes.
yeah, there's no way.
So, got a lot of advice, tips, and know how from you. But one last question. What advice would you give aspiring photographers out there? So, basically, everything that you said tonight, condense it into a couple of paragraphs.
Okay. Yeah. Photography is just basically light.
Mhm.
If you just don't buy cameras, rather invest in light,
Mm.
and keep shooting. And gear is just gear. You need to train your eye. You need to have people around you that that's above you, that um yeah, basically what I want to say is just don't rush into buying a lot of equipment. Just buy a lot of lights and modifiers, and then keep shooting. Your day will come. It has to happen organically, and keep people around. Even your family will try to talk you out of it. This thing is not going to pay the bills, and that, but you gotta have faith, and you gotta know it's going to happen, even if it doesn't happen as soon as you want it to, but it will eventually happen. I know. I've been shooting like five years. It only happened
Yeah.
last year when I got the call, and the calls keep coming in. So don't be in a hurry. Keep shooting. Let it happen organically. Trust the process, and enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, just you will be spending money and then thinking you could have bought a car, you If the love and passion is not there, just don't do it, because it costs a lot of money as well. And sometimes you're going to shoot for free, and sometimes you're not going to make a lot of money. And the love for photography, and if you feel some a sense of purpose, um, that will keep you going. Nobody can hold your hand and just wake you up and make you shoot. You got to be out there. So yeah.
Very, very good answer. Jay, thank you so much for joining. I know it was a bit of a glitchy start. We have to thank Mandy. So if she's sleeping or not, just give her a big shout out from our side as well for providing a bit of fiber tonight. But yeah, it was a fantastic interview, very insightful. I said a couple of times, very heartwarming listening to you as well. Hearing your story going from strength to strength, hearing all of your milestones as well. It's very inspirational, and hopefully the audience still watching. We've had a big crowd tonight, learned a couple of things, and got inspired as well. So from Mr. Heyman, have a good one, man. And I think from our side, it's also going to be a good night. But to round off, I don't know if you have any shout outs, perhaps, if you want to thank anyone. And yeah, basically going to give you the last word.
Okay, thank you, man. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the heartwarming. You guys were phenomenal. If it wasn't for you, with the engagements, I don't think we would have talked that much. We would have, thank you for the contribution overall, and uh, everybody that's been contributing in my life. I just want to say thank you. I don't want to say names because I'm gonna miss one, and then I'm gonna have to. But overall, thank you, man. I'm humbled, and um, I'll see you on the other side and through the lens.
It's a very good closing statement. I may steal that one. See you through the lens. No, I'll give that one to you. That's yours. So if you want to follow Jay, I have dropped his social links in the comment section, so Instagram and Facebook, so you can keep touch with his journey as well. So I think that's going to be it from our side. This is me, Conrad, on behalf of CameraStuff. Thank you again to Jay for joining us for this In the Limelight episode. And to everyone out there, good night, much love, and happy snapping.